morning and welcome to our webinar. And I can see a few of you already submitted your answers in there to the poll, so that is fantastic. We are here today to talk about disability inclusion at work and empowering change through e-learning. So quite a bit to cover today, so we're delighted to have you all join us. So thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, if you don't mind just either clicking on A, B or C here, which the question is, how confident do you feel in your knowledge of inclusive practices for employees with disabilities? So A, very confident, B, somewhat confident, or C, not confident at all. Please be honest, we're not here to judge, to assess, to any of that kind of stuff, guys. It's just to get a feel for, where you're at. You'll all be very different. You'll run a different business. You'll be at different parts of that as well. So in different, different parts in the journey of all of it as well. So, okay, I can see a number of you responded, so that's fantastic. So, okay. Only 2.7% not confident at all, so that's a good start. 59.5% somewhat confident, 37.8% very confident. So brilliant. That is somewhat confident, one we'd always expect to be the highest, and probably one of the main reasons that a number of you are here. So we'll try and help you with that today and give you more information and knowledge as we go through the webinar. So just to introduce ourselves quickly then, my name is Flora Neville. I may well have spoken to you in the past because I do a number of these across the group. And we also have the pleasure of Zoe joining us today as well. So I'll let you introduce yourself, Zoe.
Yeah, hi, I'm Zoe, Business Development Consultant for iHasco. So yeah, I've been doing this quite a long time now, for about 5 years. Yeah, and great that you're all joining us today.
Magic. Thank you very much, Zoe. That's brilliant. Quick bit of housekeeping, just let you know your microphones are all muted, videos are off, but we'd love for you to interact with us, guys. So as you will see below the main slide there, it will say ask a question. Feel free to put anything in there, question, query, whatever else, put it in there, and we'll either answer it as we go, or we also have the opportunity at the end to do a Q&A session as well. So it just means then that everybody benefits from the question and the answer. And no question is a silly question. Believe you me, if you're thinking it, I can guarantee somebody else is thinking it as well. So please do ask away. More than happy to take any questions at all. Just to be aware as well, you should be able to see where you can ask a question there. You also have attendee chat, which you can also use if you want to. So that is also available to you there. Okay, so let's get started then. So I'm going to just hand back just now to Zoe, who's going to briefly introduce iHasco, because I'm aware we've got some people on here today who know who we are, but we've also got quite a few that don't. So over to you, Zoe.
Yeah, so iHasco, we are an online e-learning training provider. So we provide that refresher training aspect that everybody needs, from health and safety, compliance, over to wellbeing as well. So we are one of the market leaders, and we work with the likes of IOSH, ROSPA, a lot of the accredited bodies to actually help us when we're producing our training to make sure it has all of the important facts information that all companies need. Again, over 200, well, we're up to about 280 courses now. So we're always looking at relevant topics, what we can introduce, and we always work as well to make sure that all of our existing courses that we provide all the latest information. So any legislation changes, anything like that will be included. As you can see, we've got over 10,000 clients and growing rapidly, and we are well over 20 million training sessions delivered so far. We provide a learning management system as well as part of our packages that we offer. So that's provided along with the courses at no extra cost. And we have an excellent support team here to manage you all of the way. I think some of the things it mentions in there as well is one of the nice things with iHasco is that we do provide subtitles in over 40 languages, and we will always grow that wherever needed as well. If there are any extra languages that someone might need, we will accommodate that as well. I mentioned some of our approvals that we have, and all of our courses are CPD registered, which I know that's really important for a lot of the clients. And yeah, we've been doing this for a long time now. So I've been in the business 5 years myself, but yeah, there's a lot of people been doing this for a long time in this business. So yeah, hopefully we can help each and every one of you.
Amazing. Thank you, Zoe. That is fantastic. Okay, so let's then talk firstly about disability inclusion. So it's obviously about ensuring that everyone, excuse me, regardless of their physical or cognitive ability, feels valued and included at work. It is obviously a critical step towards fostering mutual respect and unlocking untapped potential within organisations. And the key thing here, I think, is if I came in and asked any of you about disability, everybody would want to accommodate and ensure that there was complete inclusion around disability and anything else as well. The key thing is about that not just being your vision, but it being the culture in the business and how the business is set up, the processes, the procedures, and the people. Your people and your organization, your team are the biggest asset in your organization. So you've got to make sure that they are heard, they're valued, and that you're looking at that biggest asset and looking after that biggest asset. So everybody's got to be on the same page, as we say, and it is about having that mutual respect and acceptance. Everybody in the organisation has feels their value and is completely included at work, regardless of anything else around and about. So, and it is, there's so much potential within people, within organisations that does frequently go unnoticed, untapped. So it's great to be able to, find hidden talents, hidden skills, hidden passion within people. And I talk a lot about communication, and obviously training, everything is a form of that, but that is vital. And to make sure it is consistent as well is really key through the organization, because you won't know people's skills, passions, talents that are hidden away unless you communicate effectively with them, is the key thing. So disability inclusion means extending equality and diversity to include all abilities. It's about creating that environment of respect and belonging, so everybody feels valued and part of that one organization, that one culture, irrespective of any, differences or whatever else. And it is obviously the key to innovation and success across the board, because I always say, having a really diverse workforce, diverse teams, it enriches it so much in the organization. And that's where your innovation, your creativity, all those kind of things, because everybody's different, everybody thinks differently, everybody has different abilities, skills, and that is for everything. And if you get a good mix of that, then you're getting a good all-rounded approach to it. If you have all the same people attending the same meeting, I can guarantee you they'll all have this, have the same outcome time and time again. So it's, inclusion is so beneficial, and there are so many advantages to it in business. And that's the best way, is obviously to have that inclusive but vision. What I would also remind you is, as well, when we're talking about disability, there are visible and hidden disabilities as well. So always be mindful of that, and again, ensure that everybody is respectful of that and accepting of that throughout the organisation is the key thing. Zoe, were you going to add to that?
Yeah, no, it was just again, people with disabilities. It's a lot of the time it's the resilience that they have as well. That does bring that different aspect along with it. The different experiences that they've had can really, bring you a really great experience as a team. So people that are able-bodied as well as disabled, it's just a great all-round to get those views in, to push that workplace forward and make it truly inclusive. So yeah, it's amazing. We have people that are disabled within our organisation here, and they just bring so much because of their experience of what they've been through, the struggle that they've had, but also how they've been treated by people as well. So it really is an eye-opener. So really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, and it then becomes that thriving culture, doesn't it? That
Yeah,
at the end of the day, every employer is aspiring to have that thriving culture in the business.
yeah.
So yeah, thinking about the importance then of inclusion. Why does disability inclusion matter? So it is about building that diverse and innovative team. It improves employee engagement and morale, promotes employer reputation and trust, and ensures compliance with the law. So obviously the Equality Act 2010, which I'm sure you don't need me to go through, but you know what the protected characteristics are. So yeah, we've talked about that, building that diversity, that innovation in the team. So he's just mentioned there, the resilience, all these kind of things that people need, unfortunately, in the world, but you need in a business nowadays as well. And by having that really diverse and innovative and creative and, thinking out of the box team, because I can guarantee you people who have disability have had to think out the box to get around things, have had
Mm,
challenges, have barriers, all that kind of thing. So their thinking is normally really extensive and in my experience, really, really brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and effective. Um, Engagement and morale, you want an inclusive workplace. You want to have that positive culture of feeling, everybody wants to come to work and feel like they feel part of something, that they have a voice, they feel valued. Nobody wants to come to work and just feel like they're a number and they just come in, they do a job and they leave and they have no input. So again, it's back to that communication, asking your team as well, your team are there, and as I said, they are your biggest asset. So use that asset, engage with them, ask them, how do you feel morale is? How could we engage more? Is the way we can do things better? Give them the voice, ask for their opinion, because I can guarantee you they will come up with things you've not thought of. I say that even when you're doing a risk assessment, include the team, include the people who are doing it, because they will give you a thing, ideas or challenges that you've maybe never come up with, that you think, oh right, yeah, I hadn't thought of that. So engage with them, and that's it's a win-win, because they feel like they're being valued, they feel like they're part of something, they feel like somebody's listening to them, and they feel like they're having an impact
mm,
as well. And that engagement is absolutely key. That in turn goes hand in hand with morale as well. Ensuring that morale is at a high, making sure that people are being noticed, are being respected, are accepted, all of these things, which are crucially important. But again, just make sure it's actually happening. Don't just think, well, yeah, we're fine. Are you being a fair employer? Is that the consensus within the organisation? Again, you need to ask. When did you last do any kind of employee survey or any of that kind of thing? So all those are ways to find out how you can improve as well. Um, Promotes employer reputation and trust. You can't buy your reputation. I'm sure you have spent years of blood, sweat, and tears building it up. The last thing you want is that reputation to be ruined, and it can be very, very quickly. For in a number of ways, by a customer, by a aggrieved employee, sorry, lots of different ways, health and safety, whatever else. So you want to maintain and increase that reputation as well, and the trust as well. So if people see that you are an inclusive employer, that you are you have a diverse and inclusive workplace, then that in itself will have a positive impact on your reputation and build trust as the kind of employer you are and the kind of organisation as well. I think it gives you a good indication, or is a good indicator of the type of business that you are. Compliance obviously is non-negotiable. I'm afraid that is you must do. As soon as you're an employer, you need to be compliant. And Equality Act is one of the biggest ones. And you need to think about Equality Act from the minute you have somebody send a CV to you or fill in an application, right through to the minute they walk out the door. So you really need to ensure that you embed the Equality Act and protected characteristics and all the rest of it. They need to be embedded within the ethos of the organisation and the culture, and in particular managers, because they're the people that are probably most likely to see if there is any discrimination or anything like that going on, and of any type at any time. So they need to be really aware of it, what to do about it, how to have those conversations, that kind of thing is absolutely key. Disability inclusion is not just an act of kindness, it's a smart business strategy. Inclusive workplaces attract talent, improve employee satisfaction, and help businesses comply with legal requirements. There are a host of advantages to, having that inclusive workplace. And I really feel, and I'm an employer myself, that nowadays it is non-negotiable, and any employer wants to have an inclusive workplace, and we know the benefits to it. But again, just getting that right is key, and you do need to comply, obviously, with the legal aspect of it as well. But you can see that. I would say workplaces which inclusive are the ones that you see thriving and flourishing. And again, I don't know about you, but I'm going through recruitment in my business at the moment. It's quite horrendous. So retention is key. Having the best retention strategy. And again, your inclusive workplace comes into that, about having a good retention strategy. In place to keep the good talent that you've got. Absolutely. And also word of mouth recruiting as well is the best way. So you need to be an employer though that people see as being as a good inclusive workplace to work, where people are, there is a diverse range of people and they are valued and engaged and all the rest of it. So all these things, they all feed into one another, don't they? And they all intertwine. They're not standalone. Okay, so the Equality Act, obviously, as I mentioned, if you're disabled under the Equality Act of 2010, if you have a physical or mental impairment that has a substantial and long-term negative effect on your ability to do normal daily activities. Substantial is more than minor or trivial. For example, it takes much longer than it usually would to complete a daily task like getting dressed. Long term means 12 months or more. For example, a breathing condition that develops as a result of a lung infection. So again, just to be clear about what that is, and again, make sure that everybody is aware of that as well. So managers and everybody in the business as well. It's important that they are also clear about what exactly substantial and long-term means. Because again, people can get a bit confused by it as well. Obviously, there are some challenges of disability inclusion. Ignorance and unconscious bias speaks for itself. Lack of accessibility infrastructure, and that can be a real challenge. Insufficient representation in leadership. Again, what I was saying earlier, you need to be really mindful of this, and hopefully, it is across the board and completely inclusive, but you need to ensure that it is. And low awareness around EDI policies. Now, does everybody on here, actually, I'm just going to ask you right now, do you all have a EDI policy in place at the moment? Just a quick yes or no in the chat or the Q&A would be fantastic, guys. So yeah, just whether you have an EDI policy in place right now, then I'd be interested to know. It's okay, again, I'm not testing you or anything, I'm just interested to know where everybody is with that, because again, everybody will be different. Okay, lots of yeses, a few no's, but lots of yeses in there, so that's brilliant. Delighted to see that. What I would ask you to do is just depends, you might have had it for some time, just to review it on a regular basis and just think, okay, is that sufficient? Is it what it needs to be? Because sometimes it can change, or it needs tweaked, or the business changes, or whatever else. So despite its importance, disability inclusion does face challenges such as ingrained bias, lack of accessibility, and low awareness. And addressing these barriers is critical, my goodness, sorry, for a truly inclusive environment. So if you've not got an EDI policy in place, please look at getting one in place sooner rather than later, so we can help you with that. So if you're struggling with what needs to be in there, or you're not sure, or whatever else, then we can assist with that. But as well, thinking about what does your EDI policy include? What's in there? And how can you improve that? Looking and thinking about your training, risk assessments, all those kind of things around and about that as well, to really create that inclusive environment. That is the key thing. And what you want to be doing as well is looking at what are the challenges. Okay, we're aware there are challenges. What are they in our business? And how can we break them down? So is it ingrained bias? Is it lack of accessibility? Is there low awareness? These are all things you can have an impact on. You can change quite simply. It takes it's not just going to happen overnight, but these things that can be changed. So it's looking at what the challenges are, recognizing them in your organization, and then deciding what you're going to do about those challenges is the key step. Implementing disability inclusion, so practical steps to inclusion, accessible workplace audits, regular disability awareness training. Now, again, this is one I would question everyone and just ask, how often do you do disability awareness training? Have you ever done disability awareness training? Is it part of your training program? Again, I'm just interested to know, because I think in a lot of places they do, but I think there's still a lot of there's quite a bit lacking this one sometimes as well. Ensuring inclusive recruitment processes. Look at your recruitment process. Is it inclusive? If somebody struggles with a visual impairment, if somebody struggles with anything, then how does that work in your recruitment process, or can they just not apply? So again, you've got to look at that and think, okay, what are the challenges here? Is this set up properly? Can we make changes? Can we make it better? What do we need to do? Providing assistive technology if needed. Technology is amazing. And I've seen lots of different types of technology being used in the workplace, and it can be speech to text, it can be, a variety of different tools. I could go on forever about them, but there is loads out there to help people. Whether it's typing, whether it's writing, whether it's visual impairment, whether it's hearing, whether it's a physical disability, all these kind of things, there is technology there to help all of them in some format. So again, let's have a look at that. Is that something we should have in our organisation? Could we help? And I've got to be honest, some of the technology out there is just mind-blowing. It's fantastic, and can be used with across the board, not just people who have a disability, can bring a huge amount of benefits into the organisation for everyone. So again, it's about it being inclusive. It's available across the board. What do you need? And also rolling out and saying to people, look, there is assistive technology available. Do you need it? Do you think you benefit from it? And so all these things make all the difference. But again, it's back to that communication, having a discussion, asking people what is it you're challenged with in the workplace? Because people might be challenged and don't actually tell you and just think I'll struggle on because I might lose my job over it. So again, making it clear to people that there is assistance and support available to them. Encouraging that open communication. I can't stress enough how important that open communication is, so that people do. Again, it's back to what I mentioned earlier. It's about trusting you, trusting what process you have in place, and knowing that there is support there for them as well. And what again, it goes hand in hand with loyalty, retention, all those kind of things. So they are all very much intertwined. And making sure that it's the right environment is the key thing for sure. Okay, so benefits, obviously, inclusion. So fostering inclusivity can significantly enhance employee engagement and retention, creating a loyal and motivated workforce. So just exactly what we've been highlighting. This approach aligns with broader HR strategies to streamline operations while maintaining compliance and reducing costs. Establishing diversity inclusion training programs to educate employees and leaders. So again, historically people have maybe not been that diverse, have maybe not, there's that bias, ingrained in bias quite often does exist. So it's educating to ensure that, people's mindset is what you want it to be within your culture, because if people have the wrong mindset, it can very, very quickly impact and, spread out across the organization. And if it's not the culture and the the mindset that you want to have, the ethos in the workplace, then you need to make sure that it's changed. And what you want is so, and that's from top to bottom, left to right, across the board. Everybody has to have the same, open mindset about it, an inclusive mindset. So that does mean, training is key. Training really makes you think about it as well. And I know Zoe's going to highlight some areas of that are really good in a wee while, but they make people really think about it and realize as well. It's quite often that people, are discriminative or whatever else, not because they mean to be, it's just because their views are maybe slightly different, or they don't have the same mindset. So it's worth having a real look at that and thinking about what training you currently provide. Is it sufficient? Is it enough? Could it be better?
Mm.
Regularly review and update policies to ensure alignment with UK compliance standards. I would always recommend looking at, okay, what have we got? Is that sufficient? Does it need to be amended? Because some of these might be pretty out of date and a number of years old. Use tailored HR templates to create inclusive hiring and onboarding practices. Again, you want to get the right person through the door is the key thing. And then once you are bringing them on board, you want to, from day one, for them to be clear about what the culture is, what the mindset is, what the ethos is in the business, because you don't want to be trying to change that further down the line. This is day one. This is our business culture, and this is, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. You need to kind of lay out your stall a little bit. Leverage user-friendly HRIS systems to store and track diversity metrics. Access live expert advice to address complex inclusion related challenges. Now, and I would always say with the best will in the world, you can put processes and everything into place. We are dealing with human beings, and we've always got to remember that. We're not dealing with robots. So there will be situations, scenarios, and each one will be different. There will be challenges, no doubt about it. The key thing is you get the best advice you can to deal with that, and to deal with it appropriately. Follow the right process, make sure that it's followed through, all those kind of things, because the last thing you want to have in your hands is a discrimination case of disability or whatever else it might be, because you then need to evidence what went on and what you did have in place, what you didn't have in place, whatever else. So, and all these kind of things, I am like a broken record. I go on about evidence. Worst case scenario, you end up in a tribunal, which nobody wants, but unfortunately, we are seeing a massive increase in them. A tribunal is set up to protect the employee, not you, the employer. So you need to have their things like training, like process, like policy, to demonstrate that you have been a fair and reasonable employer, and here is how here is what I've done. But if you don't have any of these things, then how can you demonstrate you've been fair and reasonable? The bottom line is you can't. Black and white evidence is what stands up. So, and that's why I would always recommend, if you have any kind of challenge or any kind of scenario, get advice, because you're not an employment law lawyer. So you need to be sure, speaking to somebody that is, to know that what you're doing is correct and you're dealing with it appropriately. Host employee feedback sessions to identify areas for cultural improvement. So again, what I said, surveys, feedback sessions, and again, look at a variety of different ways that your team can communicate with you, and they will again give you ideas, identify areas that maybe need some improvement and development, or maybe don't exist. All these kind of things. Make sure that you're doing them, because you need your team to tell you what's required to make it the best it can be and move it forward, for sure. Okay, so does your organisation currently offer any disability inclusion or awareness training through e-learning? So we've touched on that. If you just want to either click on either yes you do, no you don't, either you're in development or you're not sure, which I appreciate some of you might not be sure. So do you currently offer any disability inclusion or awareness training through e-learning? I am keen to know. Because again, everybody's different. You might be in the process of doing that, and maybe that's one of the reasons you've joined us today as well, as you're aware of it. You're maybe just setting out on that journey, or you're maybe reviewing and updating and changing it slightly as well. So keen to just know where you are with that. Great. Brilliant. I can see a number of you have responded to that, so that's fantastic. Okay, so let's have a quick look. 54.8% say yes, so well done. Brilliant. Thank you. 25.8% no. Well, we can help you with that. Don't worry. 12.9% in development. Again, we can help you with that. And 6.5% that don't know. So I would also say if you're not sure, then it means you probably don't. Because everybody should have done disability inclusion or awareness training. So if you're not sure, my sentiment would be, or my ideas that maybe you don't have any, so you definitely need to be looking at that. So brilliant that about half of you do have that in place at the moment. The other half, though, it most definitely an area that needs to be looked at, because again, if somebody challenges this, how do you demonstrate that you absolutely are inclusive if you don't give any disability inclusion or awareness training? It makes it very, very difficult. So again, from a protection point of view, from you as an employer, you need to ensure that you're doing that, but also to create this inclusive culture that everybody wants to have, and the successful culture, you need to have this as well. People need to have that awareness training. It really is thought-provoking for a lot of people, changes maybe the way they view things, maybe changes their behaviour slightly, all these kind of things that I think are really, really important. So please do, investigate that if you don't do it at the moment. Obviously, e-learning is a big thing. And if I was speaking, or when I was speaking about this about 10 years ago, e-learning wasn't the massive thing. Training has always been absolutely key, but not always in this format. But nowadays, absolutely, it is the key. It's flexible, it's scalable training for all staff, and very, very, the flexibility of it alone, I think, is key. People can do it because we have so many remote workers, hybrid workers, shift workers, all the rest of it nowadays. So you need to have that flexibility,
and especially
very
since
challenging.
COVID especially, that just blew it out the water, really, because people had to. They couldn't get together.
Yeah. And that's what I was just going to say. How difficult is it right now, thinking about it, to get all your team in one room at one time? Massive challenge, isn't it? And like you say, since COVID, because you'll have employed people in a lot of organisations that, maybe work in Glasgow and the main office is Manchester. It's not always just as simple as so. Flexibility, I think, is one of the top criteria for e-learning, and where e-learning gives you a massive advantage. It's very scalable. It fosters awareness on unconscious bias and being open to and flexible on adjustments to roles or working conditions. And it's across the board with disability, with all the anything like that. Again, it's given that openness and that flexibility across the board. It's about teaching, I can't speak today, teaching compliance with disability law as well. So we've looked at, obviously, the Equality Act. It's key that everybody in your organisation knows what that is and what does that mean, and what is disability law. What does that look like? If I came in tomorrow and asked your teams, would they know? Because really, again, that's back to that training that needs to be done. People are got to be clear about what that is. And again, about the respect aspect, the acceptance, all these kind of things go hand in hand with it. Provides tools for tackling everyday inclusion challenges, which there will be challenges. Of course, there's going to be, everybody's different, every scenario is different. So the tools there to tackle those challenges are, fantastic. Gives you, again, different ideas, and also I would always say as well, speak to the person with the disability, ask what they need, what would be, the best thing for them, how can we help? Don't be shy. You can't have the solution to every single problem, but again, it's about that communication. It's about their involvement in this process. What can we do? How can we get around this? Whatever else, what the challenge might be. Supports continuous learning with accessible resources. Obviously, continuous learning for everybody is obviously it's key. Offers measurable progress through tracking and reporting tools. So again, it's knowing, right, where are we up to? Has everybody done this? Who's due to do this again at training again? And just making sure you're on top of it with everybody. And what I would say is as well, if you are having challenges, and sometimes unfortunately it does happen where people's mindset just doesn't change, and it's maybe in the past a little bit. um you know this kind of thing is where that helps, having that conversation with them as well. Say, look, you've been through this training and we're going to put you through it again. If you are going to continue to be in this behavior, manner, whatever else, then we're going to have to look at this, because it's not appropriate. And there again, you've done this training, you're doing that, you're doing, so again, you are putting that investment into someone as an employer as well, and you can demonstrate that. Adapts to various learning styles with interactive modules. It really does, adapt to, as Zoe mentioned as well, like subtitles, different languages, all those kind of things. So again, it makes it accessible to everyone, and that's what you're trying to create. So you can't have training that's not accessible to everyone when you are trying to ensure that you have this accessible, inclusive, diverse workforce and workplace. So your training has to comply with that as well. It's got to be right. So and it makes sure that it can be customized, it's user friendly, all these kind of things that you want it to be, so that people do the training. Because let's be honest, people say, oh no, we've got this training to do again. But you can keep it fresh, keep it short, keep it snappy. Don't just do it for the sake of it. It has to be real, quality as well, to make sure that engages people and they really think about it, and then the training is successful because they then take that on board as the main thing. Zoe, any more from you on that one?
No, I think that covers everything, really.
Brilliant.
And then obviously we'll go on to some of the training, yeah.
But like you say, since COVID, it's just gone through the roof, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. Absolutely.
No, fantastic. Okay, well, I'm going to hand over to you, Zoe, to talk in a wee bit more detail about what we do at iHasco, sorry.
Yeah, no. So obviously I gave a bit of an intro before. So we help businesses and individuals actually sort of up and down the country, but also globally now as well. We do have clients that aren't UK based that will come to us because of the quality of our e-learning training that we provide. So I've mentioned before about things like we work with accredited bodies like IOSH, IIRSM, ROSPA, to work with Vet and Citation as our parent company as well. And we also accredited by CPD, so you get those all important CPD points that are really important to our clients. So again, with the training itself, so the disability awareness, it's all of our training is short, sharp, to the point. So where we're talking about it moving online now, we want to keep people's attention. We want to make it short, snappy, but covering everything that absolutely needs to be there. So again, the disability awareness, it will cover just sort of raising that awareness. So part of what it covers as well is sort of trying to put you in the mindset of someone, if you're sort of able-bodied, you don't have a disability, putting yourself in that frame of someone that may have it, making you think about what it's like for them, what their scenarios are. You sort of taking a general walk in the park, it might not be so straightforward for someone with a disability. So actually makes you sort of sit in their shoes and think about what it could possibly be like for them, to start getting you thinking. So that's what a lot of our training will do. A lot of this awareness training is about getting you to think about different scenarios, different situations, how it might affect other people, to raise that awareness. We cover all of the important, the legislation, the law, what's in place, what needs to be in place, what we need to be thinking about, and also very much talking around the culture. So, the sort of important culture you want to foster, again, what different people can bring to the table. So, someone with a disability, as I mentioned earlier, things like their resilience, what they've actually had to go through. They have a whole different experience out there that they can bring to the table as well, and give a different view on how things should maybe be in the workplace, what people need to be thinking about. So I think it's just tapping into the qualities that everybody has, whether they're able-bodied or not, and how they can actually foster I guess a kinder workplace as well, and just a workplace that that is just better, has more all-round knowledge, more all-round capabilities coming from all different angles. So that's very much what we look to do with our training. Again, it's very visual with us. We have that presenter-led approach on purpose to make sure people are engaged, and keeping it, as I said, short, snappy, to the point. So they're the sort of three main areas that are covered, but we will always work with the accredited bodies to make sure that all of our content has been thoroughly checked and vetted and covers everything that absolutely needs to. I think next slide, Laura. Oh, can I pop it over? Yeah. So we've popped in a couple of other slides here, just to sort of give you some connected courses that actually work hand in hand alongside it. So one of them is the EDI training. So it's thinking about the discrimination, unfair treatment, the diverse workplace that we now live in, and that we're actually in general we're more aware of now, I think, especially with social media, things like that being, you know, so massive now. I think a lot of people are more aware that actually it's not so black and white anymore. There are lots of different areas that we all need to think about, and that comes into the workplace as well. So it's thinking about making sure that the workplace is fair and it's inclusive as well. So again, it breaks it down. Our courses will keep it nice and short. It will break it down into sections to make it really nice and straightforward for you. So we talk about the Equality Act and the protected characteristics, just understanding different types of discrimination and the impact that they may have, and then how you're promoting that respect in the workplace and that equal opportunity, again, right from employment through to day-to-day working. So that's everything that we will look to cover in that. And then I've also sort of brought in some information. We have sort of more courses around mental health awareness, dementia, learning disabilities and that, because again, with our workplaces being so diverse, there may be people that are maybe working from home with disabilities, things like that. It's just, again, making sure we're fostering that awareness across the board. So our courses work, I'd say, in conjunction with standard 9 of the care certificate. So it provides that awareness. So when we talk about maybe carers, so there may be people out there, is again with our training, we very much sort of say, although it's workplace training, it is there as well as to help you outside of the workplace as well. So I think having that awareness, not just in the workplace, but outside of the workplace as well, just generally all round, will help people no matter what, and will only benefit the workplace more if you sort of take that into account as well. So we also want to think about, there may be colleagues of yours that are actually working with people or like living with people with disabilities and everything like that. So again, it's fostering that awareness, and, you know, just understanding, you know, what they may be going through, what the challenges are, and just so that generally everybody has more of an understanding. I know personally, if we talk about disabilities and that, I have a family member with a disability, so I'm quite aware of it. Had I not had that family member, I probably wouldn't be, and I spot things so much more now because it's so close to home for me. But I don't think that's the case for everyone, and I think training like this is really, really useful, just to open your eyes and just to understand and give you more of an understanding of what the challenges may be for other people, whether it's with themselves or maybe people at home or other people that they're quite close to, friendship groups, whatever that may be. So again, our courses, they always break it down into sections. So we talk about here with the mental health awareness, sort of the mental health, different types of mental health issues that there may be, what care and support may be needed, what's out there to support you. And also, again, as with all of our courses, we look at any legislation in place as well. And just to give you an overview of that, so what you need to be aware of and what you need to comply with. So it's that compliance, but that just general awareness, support and understanding, which I think fosters that more caring environment and a more inclusive environment as well. We've also brought in, I thought it was really useful to pop in about unconscious bias. Again, a lot of the time, I think people are biased without even realising it, and you may consider yourself to be the most inclusive person possible, but those biases can creep in without you even being aware of it. So again, it's just gives you food for thought here to understand, you know, again, are you thinking clearly? You know, are you showing any bias? So it will give you scenarios as well. We very much look at it with that presenter led to try and give you those things. You won't ever get from us sort of like a PowerPoint presentation. It's not like that at all. We very much feel it needs to be visual. We need to put you in their shoes, give you scenarios to work with. So it's all about covering the responsibilities, how you can make fair decisions, and just how you can be more aware to avoid any bias, especially during hiring people and actually generally day to day in the workplace. So again, the course for unconscious bias, that covers those two things: general unbiased unconscious bias in the workplace, and how you can go about reducing that bias as well, whether you be a manager or an employee. So I think it covers all bases there in terms of just that awareness across the board, whatever level you are in the company.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That was excellent. Okay, so we've covered quite a lot of ground, as I'm sure you will agree. So just thinking about that, how do you feel now about your knowledge of inclusive practices for employees with disabilities? Now, I'm aware, again, if you just click either A, B or C, but I'm aware that you may think, actually, I was very confident, I've maybe slipped down a bit and I'm maybe now only somewhat confident, or you might have been not confident at all and you might be somewhat confident. Again, no right answer here, guys. We're just really getting a feel from what you're thinking and how you're feeling about it all. So you may have gone up or down the scale, and that's absolutely fine. So please be honest, and again, just to give us a bit of an indication of where everybody, because I think everybody is very different, and that's the key thing. Everybody sits in a different place with this. So I think it's important to acknowledge that, and to respect that as well, that everybody will be at a different stage in the strategy, probably within this as well. So that's grand. Okay, can see a number of you have voted there. So okay, we've got 0, not confident at all, 51.7 somewhat confident, and 48.3. So fantastic, guys. That's great, and I'm glad it's been of help to you. If you do require further support and help, then obviously we're more than happy to do that. I'm just going to hand you back to Zoe, who'll talk through how we can help, and then we'll go to some questions as well. So in the interim, if you do have other questions, feel free to just pop them in there and we'll get those answered for you.
Yeah, so again, we've been doing this for a long time now, and we're always looking, at what we can do to improve, make things better, easier for our clients. So, we're a large organisation now, but we work with all different organisations of all different sizes and all different industries as well. So we're through sort of educational, construction, manufacturing, hospitality. So all different organisations are covered, and we work towards compliance and follow all of the latest legislation. So all of our courses, whether existing courses, they will all have that latest legislation and are automatically updated if anything should change. And we again are always looking at, we take suggestions from clients as well as to, actually, I can't see that you cover this course, this would be great. And that's everything that we look at as well, to always expand and make sure that we provide everything possible to our clients. So again, I've sort of talked about it already. We produce all of our training in-house here. We have a great production team that work really hard day in, day out on our courses, making sure that they are the best they possibly can be. We work to that presenter-led approach, make it very visual, very short, sharp, to the point as well. Our courses will never be any longer than they need to be, but they will cover everything that you absolutely need. Again, we have that translation aspect as well, so we provide subtitles in over 40 languages. In terms of our platform itself, if you come on board with us, then we do provide our learning management platform at no extra cost. It's a really intuitive, simple, easy to use training platform that allows you to manage the training easily as well. So when we talk about training, we think about the people that are managing that training as well. I know it can be quite stressful trying to manage all your employees, especially if you are a large organisation, who's done their training, who hasn't. Let's have a look at it, and the insights that provides. Well, that's what our platform will do for you, so that you can pull reporting out the back of it. Very easy to send out little updates, schedule training in, pop out any little reminders, anything like that. So we've got all of that covered for you. And again, our team are more than happy if you are thinking thinking about training and actually you want to have a look at us, then our managers are there to absolutely help you do that, can show you the system, show you what it can do and what we're all about. So we are there to help you and support you with that.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Zoe, as ever, and thank you for all your input and insight and everything today, which has been fantastic. So, okay, there's a few questions in here, guys. One of the ones I'm just going to pick up on here. How does the e-learning package align with the recent tribunal ruling around the statutory defence needing to have quality training and it needing to be annually and face-to-face? So, there's a number of things there, and it depends again on your business, individual businesses, as to what you've got to demonstrate. Remember, in any tribunal, is that you have done the best you can do. You have been fair and you have been reasonable as an employer. So, in terms of the quality of training, the quality is there, and Zoe explained that to you about the the accreditation and all the rest of it. So there is you're demonstrating straight away. Now, I'm not saying you would only want to do e-learning. In some businesses, that's the most appropriate. I would say probably a mix is, again, depending on the business. You might want to do some toolbox talks face to face, or certain things face to face where that is appropriate. What a tribunal looks at is what you have done, how it fits within your organisation. So there is no straight black and white answer really on that one, is what I would say. But you need to be able to evidence as an employer, if challenged, what you have done to be compliant. So you need to look at the legislation and look at your business and align with that. And I'm pretty confident that then that'll emerge what you need to have. But again, if you want to have a chat around and about that, more than happy to do so, Claire. So if there's a time and a date that fits best with you, we can certainly give you a buzz and go through that and talk in a wee bit more detail, just so that you're comfortable what you're doing is works and is what you need it to be. Joy, would you add to that?
And I think adding to that, I speak to clients day on day, and sometimes there will be instances that they'll say, well, actually, especially if it's quite a physical job, I need to do physical training, and absolutely they should go ahead and do that. But there are certain aspects for training that really support and blend nicely and still provide that nice, easy e-learning, cost-effective solution for certain other parts of their training. Or I find I get examples, for instance, there may be something that they physically want to take, but then they take our course as a refresher course, because sometimes actually, if I think about first aid as a prime example, to get your first aid certificate, absolutely you would need to do your face-to-face training for that. But we provide like our refresher course, which is the equivalent of a one-day refresher. So that may be the case that you balance it, you get your certificate, but then you use our training to just keep on top of the techniques, everything like that, and you use that as your refresher aspect. Again, they blend very well together, and we see that all the time with clients when they use a mix of both, and it works really well for a lot of them.
Yeah. And again, with regards to the frequency as well, it depends on the training and the job they're doing and the role they're doing, because actually sometimes annually is sufficient, but in some roles with some types of training, sometimes it needs to be more frequent than annually as well. So again, it's assessing that to ensure that what you're doing is compliant. That's the key thing. So yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing that up though, because there's lots within that, obviously. So hopefully that is helpful. But absolutely, let us know your details if you want to pop in a time and a date that works best for you. Well, we're taking any more questions. I'm also just going to put in, we've obviously talked predominantly around disability and e-learning today. There are a host of other things that you might want information on as well. So if you do want any further information on anything like health and safety, compliance, business compliance management, soft skills, click on those, guys, and we'll pick that up with you as well. Today's event was recorded, as I mentioned at the start, and if you do want a copy of today's recording, then you can request that when you get follow-up. So somebody will give you a follow-up just regards the webinar and all the rest of it. Please don't hesitate to mention that you'd like a copy of the recording, and if you've got any other further information that you'd like and anything, again, please don't hesitate to we are here to help. That's the point of it. It's here to make your life a bit easier and a bit hopefully less stressful and more compliant. And that's what it's about. So any way we can do that, then we're more than happy to help you with that, guys. No problem at all. Anything further from yourself, Zoe? I'm just checking if we've managed to answer all the questions. I think we've answered a few along the way.
We have. Yeah, I picked up a few interested in the platform. So yeah, that's good.
No problem. Yep, I think we've managed to cover a lot of them, as I can see. Brilliant. Yeah, okay. Lots of thank yous as well, which is appreciated. Thanks, guys. And okay, so if anybody does want anything, I know a couple of you have said there that you do want further information, so we will pick up on that. Don't worry. If there's a time in a day that specifically works best for you, if you think, right, okay, I'm out of the office the rest of the week, or I'm not available till Monday or whatever, then let us know now, and then we'll arrange that just to make sure that we are coming, to you, to the right person, and direct to yourself, and we're making contact with you and picking that up. Then feel free just to put in any particular times and dates or whatever that works best. But I hope today has been helpful. I hope it's been useful and valuable and giving you some food for thought. And I'm delighted to see some of you there saying it's been very informative and very useful, which I'm delighted with. So thank you very much, Zoe, for joining us as ever. And thank you very much to all our attendees who have joined us as well. And we look forward to seeing you very, very soon. But if there is anything, again, if you go away from today and think, oh, I should have asked, or I should have asked, please do engage with us, guys. Please feel free to drop us an email. Actually, Zoe, do you want to pop your email and contact details in the chat box, maybe?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Brilliant. And as Zoe's doing that, she just flicked up there times and dates that if you do want to pick up on any of these, then feel free just to pop them in there. Equally, if there's a time and a date around and about that works better for you, then don't hesitate to let us know. Then we can easily pick that up with you as well. No problem at all.
Yeah, I've just popped my email in there now. So if anyone does want to pop me a little note, please do, and we can pick that up. And if some of you are existing clients or anything like that, then and you've come on just to sort of find out a little bit more, then your account manager, dedicated account manager, will be more than happy to help as well, or I can point you in their direction.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, great. I think we've covered most of the questions, and we will be in touch. I can see a few of you there are looking for that follow-up, so we'll be in touch. No problem at all. Great. Okay. In that case, I think we'll bring it to an end. I will leave this slide up for another minute or two. If you maybe are just checking your diary, then that's absolutely fine. And just pop the best time and date in on the Q&A there, and we will pick that up and get in touch with you at the best time for you. So more than happy to do that. Great. Okay. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Thanks, Zoe.
Take care. Thanks.
Cheers.